Podcast, your ultimate source for all things rugby. I'm Adrian Pavata, alongside me.
Here we go, your Angel of the Show, in your face, episode 9. But wait, book your date.
With all eight.
Episode 9, we are here.
Yeah,
Let's
and I think episode 9 is going to be amazing. I mean, we have a great lineup. We have your URC, we have your Six Nations, we have your SA Cup, a shocker in the SA Cup, but we will tell you later. And then obviously your Super Rugby. I mean,
Always.
great wins for underdogs this weekend. I mean, right through the bank, from your SA Cup to your Super Rugby, to your Six Nations. I mean,
Sure. There was a lot
France,
of
shocking island. But we're going to get into that conversation
I
a little
think
bit
that the
later.
best one for the weekend is SA Cup.
SA Cup.
Yeah, in Western Cape, close to us, Wellington. Here we go.
Binne.
Hey man, I'm in the petty. Here we go.
Binne. It's great. It's great to see some of the underdogs coming up the top. And you can see by small things that's changing within Boland, in the surrounding areas.
Yes.
Like your club rugby. Club rugby is becoming way too big. I mean, I don't know how they handle it. I mean, the most clubs in South Africa currently.
Yes, Boland, but as I said, or as Coach Bola said, always said, don't peak too soon. En ek dink Boland peak nou op die regte tyd. Hy het lank gewag. It was a boring phase. I was also in the system. Even the guest for tonight was with me in the system.
And he's still in the system.
And he's
Not
still-
maybe as a player, maar hy's daar binne in die binnekringe.
Hy's 'n coach van hy baie clubs.
Huh?
Hy's 'n coach. What a coach. First time in the Boland, into top 12.
Yeah?
Mensie, talk about it.
It speaks volumes, eh? I mean,
A lot of volume,
the transition from playing to coaching, total difference.
Sorry, I forgot about something. Not just the coach, player coach. He was the coach, player coach, and that emergency guy in the rainy days.
A Morgan Newman.
Here we go. There was that one live. It was Newtons against Roses. Then I don't know what happened. It was a big injury in the back line. And the coach is the only option. Here's this coach. Conditioning 11 out of 10. Here we go. But it's kijk je man. Die oude heren. Talk about it. Fitness op een next level. Great coach, great mens. Talk about it. Wil ze weet wie dat is?
Shit, eh?
Lucian Cupido. Here we go. Alright. Your boy, Lucian Cupido, episode 9.
Lucian Cupido, welcome to the All It Podcast, man. It's an honor and a privilege having you. Something different, something from the Boland.
Here we go. Is dit een land?
Yeah, Boland.
Wat 'n land is hy?
Dis Boland. As dit een land.
Is dit
Dis
een land? Boland.
Lucian, thanks for being on our show. I mean, I know you're a busy guy, shooting your own promos, having interviews with various people, but thanks for making time for us. We really appreciate from the All It.
Yeah, hallelujah. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Angelo, for having me on your show. You know, I was driving, I was thinking to myself, why would these guys invite me, to come to the show? So I'm truly honored, and it's a massive privilege to be here with you guys and to chat about rugby, the thing that we love, man.
Here we go.
And then, Lucian, obviously, a lot of people within the rugby fraternity knows you, but tell us a bit about your story, Lucian Cupido's story. Who is Lucian Cupido? Where you come from? Just a small background, where you played, what school you've been at.
You know, as I was driving here, I was actually thinking, they will always ask you that question, who are you?
Yes.
And I was thinking, I'm just a nobody that wants to tell everybody about the goodness of God, man, and what God can do in your life. But my story starts in Paul, born in Paul, obviously bred in Paul Boys Primary, went to Paul Boys High. Somehow, by the grace of God, played first team there for 2 years, grade 11 and grade 12, and managed to pick up a bursary to go to Picker, the Northwest, now known as the Eagles. Went there to play rugby, to study, and eventually ended up playing Varsity Cup, playing Curry Cup, even managed to get my degree, not 1, 2 degrees, failed the third one, but I'm still in the run for that third one. So eventually went there, played for the Picker, played Curry Cup, and then came back home for whatever reason, various reasons. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I am based in Paarl now. So I'm working full-time in sports management and competition management and sponsorship management with Duitser Bosman. So we do the commercialization of the Boland Rugby Union. We're doing a few things now with Board as well, with the Brood 10, and we're doing Namibia Rugby Union's club rugby competition now as well. And we even did a chess competition. So really privileged at the moment to still be a part of sports. You know, I did go other jobs.
Yes.
I was a financial advisor,
Hey,
working
yeah,
construction. Work in construction, you know, but yeah, there's just that inherent passion that the man has for sport. And yeah, eventually got the gig, and now we're going flat taps, trying to lift Boland to the next level behind the scenes.
That's een land. Boland. Lucian, how did your rugby experiences in the Varsity Cup and Curry Cup shape your understanding in the sport?
To be honest, guys, my life in Potchefstroom wasn't the easiest one. You come there, you're a groen gat, you know, you're groen, staying there in the hostel. I remember I used to live there on a budget of almost R1,000 a month. You know, nou moet jy nog vir jou dinge skoep, jy moet vir jou at least iets vir jou gesig wasplan pas. Nou moet jy nog 'n date koop. So my whole experience there, playing for Picker and, you know, going through that varsity lifestyle, it showed me, you know, that with persistence and with hard work and with staying in the mix, staying in the fight, you can eventually become something. You know, you can make it in. You can make it in your field if you don't quit. I remember I was in the Varsity Cup squad 2013, sat one game on the bench. Thereafter I was never picked. 2014, I'm on the bench whole season. Didn't go up in the final, full 80 in the semi-final, full 80 in the final. 2014, I get my first Curry Cup game. Coach Robert Dupree, James Small, and those guys were the coaches. First Curry Cup game, we play against Boland there at Ulin Park. Bus snapped my knee, out for 12 months, missed the Varsity Cup 2015. And then come back, play 2016, and eventually we win the Varsity Cup in 2016. So it really, rugby as a way of just, you know, molding you, teaching you things, to stay in the fight, to stay in the mix, and obviously to be a student as well along the side, and doing that, it just trains you to occupy yourself in multiple facets.
And that win was with Coach Jonathan McQueen, right?
Jonathan McQueen was the coach that year, yes.
And I still remember when I played Varsity Cup 2019, he was still at Pick. I don't know if he was 2020. I think he left. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was now the UJ coach.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how long he's been there. I'm still in contact with Coach Jonathan.
Awesome guy. Oh, he knows everything about the game, and such a humble guy. I mean, I still remember we played Picker. We were down half time. We were far behind, and then we managed to come back into the game. Scored about 4 tries. But that time, I mean, we had Flea out wide. We never had the biggest pack, but we had Flea like your Tristan Lates and those guys, Andre Manuel. So we had Flea at the back, and we scored. We managed to score like 2 or 3 9-point tries. I mean,
brilliant.
And brought us into the game. Well,
but that was your guys' way of playing.
Yeah, we were playing. We broken play. We can destroy a team.
Listen, soos Grammy gesê het,
Let the ball do the work.
So dis maar al wat ons gemaak het, laat die bal echt uitkom as 'n business.
So if we look at your background with rugby and business, how do you balance coaching and managing off-field responsibilities? I know it's tough because sometimes you want to put you all into one basket, but there needs to be a balance.
Yeah, I've been fortunate now with the coaching and with the job. You know, club rugby coaching, you can't take it as a full-time job. You know, yes, you do want to spend time, you know, looking at analysis and all these other stuff, but you just don't have not just the resources, but you just don't have the time when you have a 9 to 5, you know, and you're working there. So I've managed to balance that. I've obviously occupy yourself with what is happening in your club rugby team. That is going to happen tonight. While during the day you're putting in the shift at work, focusing on also what has to happen tonight. It's not that you're splitting it some sort of way, but when you are here, you give 100%, and when you are there, you give 100%. I think we've made the mistake a lot of times in school. We were given so many different subjects, and then you were expected to get a mark for that subject, a good mark, and you have to pass all these subjects. And then after school, they tell you, hey, you just have to do this one thing. You just have to do this one thing. Whereas we actually have been equipped to be say, ek kan wiskunde doen, ek kan Engels ook opstel skryf vir jou, ek kan 'n sommetjie doen, so 'n bietjie besigheidstudies gedoen. So there is a way that you can balance the coaching. But if you go higher, you maybe become Pickers coach, or you become the Leopards coach, or you become a senior provincial coach, then it's going to be a little bit different, I believe. Then you have to apply yourself, because now you're getting, that is your job now to actually do that, you know. So, but as a club coach, we've had I think the leniency of you know, being able to balance the work and the coaching.
So you were last year with Newtons. How was your experience with him? I mean, you had great players that come from great rugby backgrounds. I mean, your Lester Phillips, your Mills, some experienced guys in the camp. How was it?
It was an experience to be a whole gentleman, to be honest. But luckily, I was favored to being the backline coach the previous year. So 2023.
So you kind of knew.
2023, Coach Nazim was the head coach. He brought me in. I was the assistant coach with him, you know, getting to know the system, getting to know everybody. And then 2024, when he left and there was a gap, if they could bring me in without feeling any doubts, you know, and I came in and worked with those names that you just spoke about. I'm talking about, I mean, the guys were older than me that were playing. You know, some of the guys that were in the team were older than me, but still the guys showed a lot of respect. Luckily, I brought in Coach Warwick May. I believe he's probably a guy that could be my father, you know, so he was an older figure. Guys could also sit in some type of way, look to him as a coach as well. With me, they could have a conversation as somebody that's their age. I had a lot of, you can ask Mills, obviously we had our back and our forwards as well. Lester was a guy that, you know, he would always have advice for me. Hey, coach, kom ons kyk na dit, kom ons kyk dat. And then there were players as well, like Colin April, who was the captain, the guy who really...
Great player.
Yeah, the Newton's slogan is still and doen. He epitomizes that still and doen, you know, quiet.
Still man, he's a still man.
Yeah, he doesn't talk a lot. He just does the job at the end of the day. But then you get players that does the talking, you know.
But you did the difference between me and a player who talks, they bring me kant.
Yeah.
I joined them in the party.
Yeah, you're not just the guy who's gonna talk hard and then when it comes to playing between the four lines, as they after the rack, I see rack investigated, I see second.
So with that being said, you came into an environment where there was a platform laid. Now, for me personally, as a coach, I always believe, because I coach at school, and I always believe sometimes you don't need to change much, because there's a footprint already there. Maybe here and there you tweak. Do you believe in changing a lot, or do you just believe in, you know, let's cut the negatives and we keep the positives?
Yeah, you always want to cut the negatives. That was my whole, you know, I don't actually like negativity around me that much, you know. Sometimes I would even shy away from the negativity and, you know, even ignore it to a point that it would well up in some people, you know. So, but yeah, changing things too much, that's a difficult thing to do. Like when I finished now with Newtown, I went to another club now, and you see how they're doing things there, and immediately you want to do better. You want to bring in new things. You want to, like, let's train this way. Let's not just be, you know, let's not just be lukewarm. Let's be on fire, man. You know, let's lift the tempo. Let's lift the. So you would want to make changes if you do see, hey, there's room here for improvement. But like I said, with the 2023 Newtons and the 2020, I didn't have to change a lot. You know, I didn't have to change the game plan, what days we are training. what strategies are we taking every day, what are we going to work on. The guys knew that now already, so all that we had to do was come in, fill in the blanks, color in the whole thing for them, make sure that they know that they are coached, feel that they are a coach team, and I believe that that is what brought us success in 2024 with Newtons.
Definitely. Then, Lucian, how do your skills in sales marketing, in recruitment, contribute to your role as a coach?
Obviously, sales, you have to be able to, the first time I went into a sales job, so I was a sales rep for a medical company, so now they tell you, jy moet jouself verkoop.
Ja, Rick. Sal jy begin by interview die het gesê ek moet hoenders verkoop.
And you have to find a way to sell that hoenders, jy moet jouself verkoop. You come there, you smile, you positive, you have to attract people around you. I think when you're in that sales environment, it teaches you different things. It teaches you when somebody rejects you. Wanneer iemand jou ding wil koopie. En dis dieselfde ding wat gebeur as jy 'n coach is, dan gaan van die spelers is wat nie vir jou gaan ervaar nie. Aan die einde van die dag, as hulle wil speel vir die span, moet hulle die produk koop. Yeah, and obviously recruitment is a crucial part of any rugby development. If I'm now going to a club, I have to get at least a few good players in, being able to convince them and to be able to sell to them, hey, what is the vision that we have here at this club, what we want to do, how do we want to do it, and then they'll be able to make a decision based on that. So, and those cold calls that you have to do sometimes.
Nothing nice there. Nothing nice.
Ik wil nie. And I worked at Old Mutual. Ik wil nie polisie sê nie. I'm like, yes, auntie, ek wil maar net jou gevra het, maar yes.
Ons moet nie op begrafnis
as hulle World Mutual, whatever.
Ja, dadelik as ons nie phone, I also work for Mutual, funny enough, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough times. I worked in the heart of COVID. En nou man sê nou, but luckily for me,
Ek dink hy was die beste tyd om 'n polis te verkoop.
het was, maar nou baie mense het nie geld gehad uit. So it was tough. It was tough. But I mean, at the end of the day, things work out. Things work out the way we want it to be. And maybe sometimes not the way we want it to be, but it goes into a path. I mean, who would have thought us being sitting here, healthy, doing a podcast, trying to uplift the youth.
With Lucian Cupido.
And we're on episode 9, so I mean, things do work out.
Yeah, I have this saying, the Romans 8 verse 28, it says that all things work out together for the good to those who love the Lord and to those who are called according to His purpose.
Amen.
So if you love Him, trust and believe that things will work out for you, man. No matter what. As een skrywer gesê, al bot die vye boom nie. Al aan die drywe aan. Jy weet
hy kan nie verkeerd gaan nie.
Jy moet
al sou die vye boom die bot nie en die wingerd die dra nie. Nogtans sal ek jubel en ek sal
Yes.
Wat wil jy?
Yes,
So Lucian, we were talking now behind the scenes, and you said you played for Leopards and you played for Poland, right? How was it playing for those teams? And there's another thing you mentioned. You were a player coach, and you were in the 23. Was the derby?
Yeah, it was against
Big
Roses.
derby.
I'm gonna share that clip so that you guys can see how I was on the field. I got pulled off the field, but it's playing for Pukke and for Leopards was different. Being in the northwest, there you're away from everybody, but it taught me a lot. They had all the facilities there, and I learned so much there. I could walk to everywhere. It was close to the gym. There I used to, they're focusing on gym. I think I was twice the size I am now. The way wat hulle vir jou, the way wat die supplements drink en jy weet jy goed vat. Met a lot of good people there. I mean, I met Louis de Jager there. We stayed in one house, played FIFA every day. Cornel de Pre played for Scotland. We stayed in one house. So Rhino Smith and Sylvian Mausa. I played with all these lekker players. Yeah, and even this weekend I saw Jandre Rudolph again, you know,
Yes,
play
yes,
for
I saw
the
the
Cheetahs.
picture. I saw the picture.
Yeah, and he was,
And Chucky.
and Chucky as well, and Loftus
Chucky.
was there, and Chris World, September, those guys. So being there and being in that environment, it's a high performance environment. Actually, you surround yourself there. You have to surround yourself with men who want to go to the top.
Yes.
Otherwise, 1 year you are gone, 2 years you are gone. I was there for 7 years, so ek het 'n bietjie longevity gewys daar buite. But yeah, playing for Boland, guys won't know how I got to play for Boland, man.
Yo,
He still played. He was in the team.
yeah.
I remember I was sitting there one day in a parkie in Paul. That was just post-COVID, man. There's not a lot happening. I haven't played rugby in a year now. Paul Rugby Club, the club scene is dead. I'm on a bicycle. I decided to drive with a bicycle to Wellington. I remember that Boland still played the Leopards the next day.
Yeah.
It was a Friday afternoon. I'm driving to Boland on the bicycle.
On a Thursday.
I'm driving there. I get to the field. Now I'm standing there, put my bike down. And these guys all the covers were sitting on the stand, and the coaches were standing here at the bottom. These guys call me Coach Randall and Coach Franzel was still the coaches. They call me Lucian, call me. I'm like, these guys are calling me to come here on my name. I'm walking there. The coach is like, Lucian, if you came 30 minutes earlier, you would have played tomorrow on the bench. We needed somebody off the bench, but then they got Curtly Cedras in.
Yeah, Curtly
Cedras came in. And he's like, okay, Lucian, but just be a part of the mix. Come tomorrow, you know, come watch the game.
Ja, dit was interessant. Die Johan Hendricks maak sy enkel hy vorige dag seë by die oefening. En hulle krap 12 koppe van daar is hier ou wat hulle kan speel agter nie. En hier steek Lucian hy. Ek weet nie of kom dit. Coincidence. Hier sit so, was dit jou fullback? Iemand wat nie fullback speel, oefen so lank daar. En jy kon sien die ou sy posisie uit.
Hy voel ongemakkelijk.
Hier stuur God iemand op die scene.
It was, and eventually the next week I ended up running now with the team because, like I said, there was somebody injured. Felt like I was at home, and it was like I've been training here all my, it just felt everything clicked with these guys. Ended up going to Welkom, playing against the Griffins. They got a hiding there, I think. That they came back. They didn't pick me again after that game. That's why I always say, stay ready so that you don't have to get ready. I don't think I was really ready for that opportunity because it was COVID. You didn't really play rugby. But yeah, so now I'm the one cap cavalier.
A cap is a cap. It's like if you're in a Springbok aligning camp and you get the cap against the middle. It's a cap.
It's a cap.
It's a cap.
Niemand kan dit wegvat.
Niemand kan dit wegvat nie.
But just for a moment, it was so enjoyable, man. Welkom. That was nice. Just something different. It's a bietjie droog.
It's bietjie droog, ja.
Altyd droog, hè.
Maar was a great experience. A great bunch of ouens was daar so. Ons het mekaar geniet. En vir my was dit ook net 'n kwessie van wat ek gelike van Lucian wat in die system inkom. Sy het nie nog vir jou laat enigstens uncomfortable voel nie, man. Sy het 'n moment gegryp. Sy sê
ek sê aan ek hardloop my aan saam asof ek jare aan die manne oefen.
Vat my, man.
Slot in agter uit, jy weet dit. Ek verstaan nie kom as ek so maar.
Then Lucian, from player to coach. That transition. That challenges me.
Yo, the transition, guys, I'm gonna be honest, it was actually, obviously you want to continue playing for as long as you can, but I've been coaching even when I was in Ports. I coached the hostel there from my third year for 4 years. You know, I coached a hostel called Hombre. I coached the first team there, hostel rugby, Friday night rugby, you go to Club Art, and there I already started learning how to coach, getting my methodology correct in terms of how I come across to players, how I can express myself, and then eventually when this happened now with the Cavaliers and not being called in again and not really finding a club that I want to play for, God gave me a contract with the Department of Cultural Affairs and Sports to be a coach, you know, to be a sports club coach. In the midst of all the adversity, now you're getting something, at least a salary or what you works, and now you're working. And I remember I started as a netball coach there by Mbekweni Stars. The netball coach, I remember I'm walking then Bokwini. I'm coaching these girls with, and that's why you must always be faithful with the little man.
Yeah.
I'm coaching these women and they're training hard, they're working hard, getting better, getting fitter. Now I'm walking around, I see, okay, there's a rugby team here in Bokwini as well. I find out these guys don't really have a coach. Ended up started coaching in Bokwini. They're playing in the second division of the Boland. You know, don't have a coach. Coaching these guys, big men, you know, a lot to work with. The community there has a lot of work with as well. So I ended up working with the little kids there as well. If the big guys don't come to train, I was like, coach enige iemand. As er 2 ouens wat aan veld toe kom, coach ek 2 man, you know. And ended up that year we did all right. Didn't get promoted or anything, but then Coach Nazim came. He said, "Hey Lucian, don't you want to come help?" And so the transition from the player, I've had some knee injuries as well, man. And I remember being in the gym one day. That's when you work with kids. I coached at boys I also a little bit, under 14s, and with the technical stuff. I'm in the gym there by boys. One of the kids jumped into my knee. I remember the pop in my knee. Gentlemen.
Fox, bro.
So obviously I've had my fair share of injuries as well, and I think it came at the right time to transition from being a player to a coach. But in 2023, when I was at Newton's, like you say, I played a few games as well. I started a few games on fullback when they obviously you get injuries throughout the year.
With the 14s.
So I started a few games, played a few games of the bench here and there as well, and then eventually 2024, head coach now. Now we have injuries again. I'm all right. I wanted to play because we don't have a flyer. There's a few links missing. And then they told me, head coach Spieli. I'm like, where does this rule come from now? I wanted to play. So yeah.
You say you wanted to be the difference.
Yeah, we didn't. We had to. I don't know if you guys know Wilfred Bowers and Ryan Jordan. Those were basically, you know, my two friends. They also played at Newton, flyer, fullback combination. Guys are brilliant, man. Both of them were out injured. We didn't really have backup, and I was like, I even strapped my knee. Come there to the field. I'm gonna play today. I'm gonna, you know. So it's not the biggest game, but ended up being told, "Nah, you can't play, bro."
So Lucian, if we look at your season, the season started now.
Yeah, it's first
Saturday.
game.
Started Saturday. What's your goals for the season for your team?
So guys, I'm gonna have to be honest with you. I'm not a head coach now anymore at a specific club. I was for a week the director of a club, but then it was valued as conflict of interest because I'm involved with Boland and we're doing talk shows and we're doing all this media stuff for Boland, basically doing a lot of work for Boland. So I couldn't be the director. So now I spoke to the president, Benny van Rooy, and he told me, Lucian, don't worry. We're still going to have that coaching element for you and focus on that and bring you into the junior structures at Boland, bring you into the under 21s. So I'm looking forward to seeing where I'm going to be the difference, as you said.
Yes.
So I'm a consultant now in the Boland. But my goal would be to see young men get better, man. Get better in rugby, get better as a human being. Feel loved, feel energy, you know, feel valued, you can say, you know. And I saw that with the week that I was there at Young Blues. Young Blues finished 11th last year in the Grote Dag. They played promotion, relegation, so they were down in the dumps, man. And when I came there, they lost against a small team just a week prior to when I got there. And now I'm there, 1 week, poof, we give a team 60. Guys are playing with a little bit more belief, letting the ball do the work, you know. And these guys are humble, man. And that's what I enjoy doing. I drove home from work, from that training session after one of the harder trainings. I'm like, this is why I do it, man. For this feeling that I'm getting now as I'm driving home. It's a feeling that I did something, man. I did something that I wanted to do, and I did something that I feel is going to add value to other people's lives, you know. So that is my goal, to add value.
And then, besides coaching at the clubs, do you still see yourself going into the communities, working with underprivileged kids? Because that's something that a lot of people don't see the need to. Not a lot of people want to invest in in the communities. And I think that's something that we actually should drive, because there's so many talent out there that we don't even know. I mean, I remember when I was still playing at Tigerberg, when I was still a choker, and there was this one guy, he just used to come watch us. And he was standing there. He never used to play rugby, but he never had boots, but he always used to come watch us. And then one day, I remember, God rest his soul, Coach Lights, he was like 60 or 70 when he was coaching us. Hy het vir ons geslaan met brannikels. Kyk, die man kan
Jy moet
nog
hardloop.
push-ups en sit-ups gedoen het.
Jy moet hardloop.
En hy sê vir die ou, nee, kom man, hy staan nou heeltyd hier en sy kyk nou heeltyd en hy vra vir hom, wat nou, hoekom speel jy nie? Sê, oom, ek het die bootsie. En hom laat sê, ek sê vir jou wat, môre kom jy, ons oefen weer, ek sal jou boots kry. En Coach Lights got him boots, and I mean, I was a pensioner. He just did it for the love of the game. He coached, he was like 60, 70. That guy was a brilliant rugby player.
Ended up playing like
Ended up playing great rugby. So you never know what talent is out there, but some of the youngsters are just scared to get out of their comfort zone.
100%.
Because, well, not out of their comfort zone. Some people listen to the dope, finances is not like, things are not there, and that's why we started this, is because we want to drive things like that. Going forward, getting balls out. So we have a drive, a 6-week drive.
Ball drive.
A
Ball
ball drive
Guys.
where we obviously getting balls together for schools in underprivileged communities, and maybe the next drive should maybe be boots or whatever the case may be, clothing, whatever. So
There's always
it's just there is always a need, and we need to. I want to bridge that need. We want rather.
Yeah.
We want, the need is always gonna be there, but I feel like if we're gonna get certain things in place, and I think that's where the government must come in involved. We have this let's play and stuff, but it dies out after time. It's not a consistent thing. Like, I mean, we had BTD on they are one of the most consistent non-profit organizations where they even celebrate even for adults. So that's things we want to see going forward, so that we can make South Africa a better place. I mean, we have how much? About 59 to, let's say, 62 million people in our country. The highest unemployment rate, the highest crime in the world. So if we cut that off, I think it's gonna help us it's gonna help our country in a positive way. Less crime, more people working, more money for the country, because obviously more taxes gonna be paid. So yeah, with the question, I wanted to ask you: is there maybe a specific community that you're still going to reach out to?
Guys, that is amazing that you actually made mention about that. Now I was in a meeting, Willard was in a meeting with Chelsea the other day, speaking about what Chelsea want to do in the community, and they want to invest balls. I remember we are doing something that's called the Tacky Town Development Drive. So we basically make up 30 development kits. The teams that qualified for the top 12. So if you ended up first in your division, you get 3. You can nominate 3 schools. You finish second, you can nominate 2 schools. So we went to all these schools and did a Tacky Town Development Drive. They gave them 10 balls, gave them 2 pumping shields, gave them water with water carriers. But that is what you want to do, man. I told those guys, even in Chelsea, you know, that one day I was there at the game between Austin and Austin played against Saldanha. It was the last game before the semi-finals, when Brent Manuel still missed to take Saldanha through. I remember that, commentating there on the game. I walked around there with a few rugby balls, giving balls away. I remember the entire communities like this were around me. It looks like I'm walking with a crowd of people. Almal soek 'n rugby ball. So that was one of my prayer points, is that we invest more rugby balls into our communities, want al wat die laities wil hê is 'n rugby ball. Wil net sy eie rugby ball en nou seker hier by die veld, ek gee vir manne, ek gee vir jou 'n bal, as ek die man ook 'n bal, hy soek ook. ek het nie genoeg bolle nie. Here gee my genoeg bolle laat ek met die manne almal 'n rugby bal kan gee, jy weet. So I don't want to specifically say I'm gonna be in one place, but I would want to see how far we can stretch this thing, how many balls we can make. Ons voer bolle uit India uit. Vir nie so duur nie. En ons brand die bolle, ons sit goed op die bolle. So as jy 'n borg is of 'n maatskappy is wat hierdie manne wil borg, bolle maak, ons voer bolle uit India uit. Jy kan jou maatskappy se naam op die bal sit. En ja, ons voer hy goed in en ons laat die manne se droom waar word om bolle te versprei in die gemeenskap.
Definitief. Dan Lucian, as you know, our aim and goal is to youth upliftment and education in sport. I'm a firm believer of education first, then sport. By that I mean
Education first.
education first. Education first. Right. So what is your thoughts on being a student athlete instead of an athlete student?
Or just the athlete.
Or just
Yeah, my experience will speak, man. I remember coming to Potts as a first year. Jy weet, jy wil nie rugby speel nie.
Yes, nice times.
Maar anyway, die wat se klas is 7:30 op 'n maandag.
Gladly.
Direct toe. But what happened was after my first year, praise God, I would like to say, I got an injury, you know. And I think I passed 4 out of my 12 subjects, which means I failed the year. But I played really good rugby. I eventually ended up making the SA 20 squad even, but I had to get an operation on both my shoulders. So I couldn't participate. But then something just clicked inside of me. Hey, what is this thing that you have to study? Luckily, they gave me a 2-year bursary after that to study again. Then I took this thing seriously, man. And I saw that knowledge is power, man. You have to go and study, man. Equip your mind, equip your brain, equip your tongue to be able to speak better. 100%. You know, your ears to be able to understand and to listen better. Small things where you just can understand something quicker just by being in an environment where you have to study. So for me, being a student athlete was the best thing, bro. I would say. So I managed to finish my degree and then I continued studying, finished another degree. While the time I'm still playing rugby as well, playing for Pucker, playing Varsity Cup, playing Currie Cup. You can balance both. I saw guys do that. You don't just have to do the one thing. You can gaan swat iets langs die kant as jy miskien nou by die WP is by Unisa of kyk even die grootste ouens doen dit op die huidige oomblik.
Definitief.
Stadio is now one of the main distance learning, and I mean even Pucker
Even
also have
Pucker, yeah.
distance learning. So there is a lot of opportunities out there. It's just you need to come forth if you need any help. And we will try obviously to speak to the various people that we know so that we can make dreams come true. Because that's reality. We need dreams to come true, especially within the communities. But anybody, if you are struggling financially, we can always try and get some type of sponsor, or we can put you in the right path, speak to the right people, to maybe even get a NASFA's bursary. So
Manne gaan agente raak. Julle moet julle manne moet julle agente dinge so kry hoor. Julle is lisensies. Dat julle die manne kan deursit.
Sê my wil dis springbok raak.
Ja, nou verrassing. Ja, nou verrassing.
Ja.
And Lucian, before we conclude, any advice for our upcoming future? Girl, boy, doesn't matter. Advice that you want to give them to enhance student athlete instead of athlete student of athlete.
Ja.
Any advice?
Yeah, you're gonna have to make a decision. It's nobody is going to do it for you. You're gonna have to make that decision within the inside of yourself. Let it click. You know that this is what I want to do. Nobody's gonna do it for you. A lot of guys I see, you know, they shy away from going to this and doing that. Put yourself there in the fire line, man. Put yourself there in the front line. Ek wil voor in die klas sit. Ek wil verstaan. You know, it takes a decision. It kan maklik wees. Ek wil agter gaan sit. Ek wil aan die slaap raak. Or you can say, I want to be in front, man. I will ask. If I don't understand something, I will ask, you know. So that would be my advice. Put yourself out there. Make the decision. Go out and get what you want, you know, because it is possible. Nothing is impossible.
That's Lucian Cupido in a nutshell. But before we end, Lucian, There was this Saturday, I think it's top 12. You were busy commentating, and me and my fiance were sitting there on the couch, and says to me, "Who's this person who's talking here? Who's the one who's commentating here?" Ik sê vir haar, "Maar dis Lucian Cupido." Nou vra sy nou, sy keel is seker seels, hy van die handreis kom om sy stem so te maak. Ek sê, nee, hy man praat so. Dis Lucian Cupido. Lucian, voor ons gaan afsluit, ek dink hem vir ons net so 2, 3 commentators, linkjes, gewoon net wys, hy sê net 'n coach en sy kan nie bly dan ook wees. Gewoon sy ding. Gewoon sy ding.
As vandag Unimal wat in Derby al omdraf. Ek sien dat die nummer 5 is Angelo Rousseau. Hy's groot, hy's sterk. Hy's 'n man wat die bal kan vorentoe dra. En dan het ons ook vir Adrian Paarwater wat agter hom gaan sak op die 8. Adrian baie gevaarlik as hy die bal optel en op die man se skouers hardloop as 'n man wat die aangee kan wegkry in die tackles in. So ja, dis seker om die manne dop te hou hierdie jaar. Unimal verseker span wat ek gaan dop hou.
Rugby check, rugby results of the weekend. Obviously, only one URC game, Sharks versus Lions. Sharks taking it.
It was not a URC game. It was Hendrik self.
Sharks taking it at the end, 25-22. Lions doing exceptionally well, and you can see my thing with them, the Lions. Their philosophy is working.
Yes.
Getting youngsters, a lot of youngsters out of Cape Town, especially out of Paul, getting the guys, signing them, not spending as much money as the other bigger unions, and molding that player into your next Springbok. So the thing with a lot of the unions is that they tend to put a lot of emphasis on Springboks and buying Springboks and spending a lot of money, and sometimes that money could be invested in a better way. Not saying the Springboks mustn't get money. I mean, obviously there is a lot of talent that's going around, and obviously you're gonna get your experienced players that's coming to an end, and that's where the youngsters need to.
Maar ek dink die Lions kon dingetjie vat op einde van die dag discipline. Discipline het die Lions ook gebruik, maar die Sharks het elke opportunity gevat. En ek dink wat ek gesien het, is die Lions het actually die game gedominate.
The Lions doen
Alle die
baie
game
goed in
gedominate.
terme van picking up on the set pieces, and I mean you can see by the amount of Springboks that's in the lining camp now currently. Yoslabakanya, that the prop, I mean yes, it's a unit but can get over the paw.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I mean things are coming together for them, and I think it's just gonna go from strength to strength. And then obviously Ange, our club rugby scene, Tigerberg beating NTK. Unimal going down to St. George's,
En die Gastro.
32-19.
Die guys are well done, St. George's.
Brackenfell losing to Falls Bay 58-28, and I mean they were up 21-5 half time, but it was at Brackenfell, and then obviously Falls Bay coming out with the win. But I've been told that Brackenfell, they have a lot of guys
Something's
out.
not matching here.
They have a lot of guys out, so they trying to bring in more youngsters now. And then obviously
Half van de stel.
Below Van der Stel, 17-49. Van der Stel obviously showing that they are the Real Madrid of club rugby at the moment. I mean,
Do you guys think that they're gonna be a prospect in the Super A 2025?
I think, well, let's put it this way. They should be a prospect with the amount
quality player,
of
of
guys
quality.
that they got from various clubs.
Do you know any big names?
Big names, you have your Lal Hendricks, you have your
Is Jamba
Stewart.
with it?
Jamba was there, but I don't think he's playing.
Okay.
He was involved, but he said he's not.
Yo, Ryan Muller,
Ryan Miller,
Lyle Hendricks,
Stewart,
Duncan Sal.
And they're based in Stellenbosch, so
based in Stellenbosch, but the rumor has it that they don't have a field now because I think the field was sold to Stellenbosch FC.
What is the
so
problem?
I'm not too sure about that.
What is the problem? Buy a new field. Buy a new field.
So yeah, so tough for them. Just I hope they can find a neutral venue. I mean, something close to them.
Yes.
I think Clutiesville is a field they could possibly be an answer for them. But let's hope they can get things up and running. And then your Atlantis beating a Super League B club.
Hands in hearts.
Hands and Hearts 33-24 in Atlantis. Something is happening in Atlantis.
Goes
All the
green.
youngsters coming back to Atlantis to represent Atlantis. It's good.
So hulle is weer op 'n level met hulle players, so hulle het weer genoeg diepte.
Hulle het
Genoeg
genoeg
wat
diepte.
enige coach soek.
Genoeg diepte en hulle het manne verloor. I mean, een van hulle star players is nou by Kulsrivier. So like
Ek sien Kulsrivier het ook weer aankopies gedoen. Hulle het ook
ja nee, yes, as dit lyk my hulle het ook nou
Lucian, die trolley is vol. Die trolley is vol.
Ek meen as ek kyk na die manne wat nou gespeel het, Andre Manuel teen Tigerberg.
Maar Andre het nou sy hele moet kyk Andre coach saam met my by Young Blues op 'n aand so ook 'n lekker hy kan lekker afrig ook en hy het 'n stamp gekry vroeg in die game en die ou se mond is nie lekker nie so ek weet nie hoe lank hy dalk uit gaan
So hy praat nou die volgende maand.
Hy ook baie
Hy kan baie praat.
Elsie's beating Bellville 19-7.
Ek dink hy is home advantage.
Tough for Bellville, but you can't really if you look at friendly fixtures, you can't really say
Friendly and league is two different things.
Yeah.
You see, we saw what happened
Ja,
last
die
year with
verskillende
us.
goed.
We lost all our friendlies, ending up third. So, don't peak too soon. Don't peak too soon. See you when I see you.
And then Hamlet's beating Goodwood. I mean,
It was a derby.
Hulle
That
sê
was
the
a
derby
derby.
van al Hamlet's manne is by
by
Goodwood. So it was a derby and beating Goodwood 11-5.
That was a derby.
Ek het nou 'n bietjie manne ingebring sê.
Uit die memory.
Hulle het mos manne laas
die bal
jaar
kan hardloop.
Ja,
laas jaar het hulle manne van Hamlet's gevat. Ek dink 'n flank en 9 en ek weet nie wat nog nie. En Jody 8 flank.
En toe maak dit die hekke oop.
Maklik. Jy weet mos
was altyd 'n derby. Hulle sê mos gewoonlik you know if you play against people that played for the club or people that were at the club, it's always a derby. It's always a derby.
Ja.
back to the Six Nations.
Six Nations.
Six Nations.
France absolutely hammering Ireland. Let's put it that way. Let's call a spade a spade.
Unlucky for the point with it.
Unlucky with that injury. Strongs for the
He's out for
recovery.
9 months.
ACL.
ACL of. But Frans, ons gaan er nog baie uitbrei oor nie. Frans het Ierland verneder en dis dit. Op alle fasette. Ierland het 'n kans gehad om in die game in te kom dink ek, maar glad die hele kans gevat nie. As jy gesien het soos in te pond het gemaak wat hy wil. Dit lyk die man hardloop by die kan net poef, all die bal binne senters aan 'n twa.
But I remember
point is net
one
special.
thing. France went with a 7-1 split.
South African rugby.
Ja, bomb squad.
They went
bomb
with a
squad.
7-1 split, so I mean they are capable of doing that. They have the
But now is that
The
thing, now you
structure.
get an injury, 2 injuries in the back line, what do you do now? You know, that's the is behind
Not
the
every
squad.
team have a quagga. Understand?
And not everybody has what is that, the guy with the beard, from South Africa, man. The big guy,
He just have the tweet.
with the balle, the thing is, what is the name, man? How can
RG Snyman.
Not everybody has these guys, bro. I remember there was a bomb, they put on a bomb squad once, but it just doesn't have the same impact when you have a RG and you have a Quagga and you have, you know,
Steven Kitzel
Kitzel.
coming
These guys
on.
are just monsters that coming off the bench. Like even this weekend, Cheetahs brought on a few players. Okay, they made a little bit of an impact, that little bomb squad, and then it withered away. You know, then Boland just picked up the pace again. So a bomb squad can be.
Scotland,
Wales. Yeah, I mean Wales coming close at the end. I mean Scotland was lucky.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Coming back into the game the last 10 minutes, but I mean if you look at the game overall, Scotland was dominating. Great tries from Scotland. The one van der Merwe creating one where he fends off and releases the centre on the outside.
England, Italy.
England, Italy, tight game first half. I think it was like 24-17
Ek
or
het weer 'n dambal gehad eers breek. Italy kon nie die physicality.
But Italy,
a probleem.
Italy struggling in terms of, I think depth is their problem. They have a squad now that that's capable of beating big teams, but the problem is depth. I think they need to get the balance.
Definitely.
They need to get the balance.
What's going on there by Wales, guys?
Wales, I think at the moment, Wales rugby, after the sacking
Gatlin.
of Gatlin, they're doing exceptionally well.
Do you think it was the coach?
I don't think it was the coach.
But do you guys think a coach can have such a big impact?
Definitely.
that-
I think
Sometimes
I
it
think
is.
so as well.
Sometimes it is the camp. So if somebody don't like the coach, en hy begin 'n sprei woord, it can, and if you have a positive, and if you have a big impact, I mean, in the squad,
yeah.
it can create sour worm. So
Definitely.
so. I always say,
Difficult as a
yeah,
coach.
sometimes you can blame a coach, but I mean, if you look at the guy's record with Wales, winning Grand Slams, I mean, winning tours in New
Yeah.
Zealand with the Lions, I mean, it speaks for itself. So I think I won't blame him too much. Maybe just the time has come for him to just move on. Let's put it that way, because I mean he was still with Wales and he was with the British and Irish Lions, and then he went to the Chiefs and went back to Wales. So
There's a few things happening.
yeah, so
Lucian,
maybe a few
dan
things.
kom ons
happen.
tot op jou voorstoep. SA Cup. Op jou voorstoep. Primary source van Saterdag. Jy was daar gesien. Kyk na die Valke in Eastern Province. 40-30. Daai Valke het wit Valke ry en vat. Dan kyk ons na die
Kijk, dan is aan die gebeur by die EPU.
Yeah,
Alistair is there. They've got
Coach Duty.
they've got things that
So sê jy hulle so tydjie
yeah, they call me as well looking for some players. I'm like, okay, they want to
Dan kyk ons na die Erling Pumas, Pangela SVD. Hy was 'n big game.
Ja, die Pumas.
75-7.
Pumas, ja, hulle gaan altyd 'n factor wees. But Jamie Stonehouse is just that guy is just straightforward.
Yeah.
They're not gonna bring it bang on next guy in. We want performance week in.
Dan
week
kyk
out.
ons gaan die een skip, dan gaan ons kyk na Border Bulldogs en die Griff 55-32.
32.
Vir my
Good score for Border.
vir Border, ek wil net sê
But
dat
Border also buying a few players. Eh?
Yeah.
There's something happening
Dan-
in the smaller unions as well.
die laaste een, Oos een. Ons praat van Oos manne. Sanlam Boland versus Toyota Cheetahs. Boland stap weg 45-29. What's your thoughts?
Yo, what a game of rugby, man! What a privilege it was to be there. I was the MC there on the field, so I think the guys are from the Mike's point of view, but lekker crowd back at Boland Stadium. You know, it just brings you that feels back from back in the day when you used to go watch the Cavas play. You know, good game in the essence where Boland took a lead, 19-0 lead early in the game. Obviously, temperatures were high. The Cheetahs came back just before the break.
Yeah.
Made it 19-12 as the boys went in for water. Came out, a few penalties for the Cavas, 2 tries for the Cheetahs, and then ever suddenly the Cheetahs are leading 29 points to 25.
Just-
I'm there on the mic, eh? And these guys now brought out the bomb squad. There's like 20 minutes left, 15 minutes. Now the last 15 minutes is something that they call the cover time. I remember Cheetahs kicking the ball out, and the next moment I saw was the line out was already being thrown. The guys just lifted the tempo. But with the tempo lift, one moment you're here, the next moment you're standing in your own 22 because you might have just lifted the tempo too quickly.
Yeah.
And now you're standing in your own 22 again. But that didn't deter the boys, bro. It just actually lifted them, motivated them, continue to play. Lunati hit the intercept, scored his hat-trick try. And then we just continued playing, and eventually the Cheetahs just didn't have answers for the tempo that the guys played in those last
quick for them.
in cover time, you know.
And
So-
Lunati getting man of the match.
Yeah.
Getting man of the match.
yeah,
But,
by SA Rugby probably, but Marlon Williams, we have in Boland we have sponsors that are brought in, man. So we do sponsorship activations. So
Vuma sponsors,
we have a Vuma sponsor, yeah. So
Rainbow. Volunteer.
and a Sanlam. So the Rainbow is the powerhouse player, the one who has the highest work rate. The Vuma is the one who put in the most tackles or the best tackle. We call that the connection, because obviously Vuma keeps us connected, you know, five and stuff. So, and then we have the Sanlam confident player who is the man of the match. So Lunati won the Rainbow powerhouse, Turlo won the Vuma player, and Marlon Williams won the confident player.
And on that note, Turlo Mas,
Getting his
50
50th
caps.
caps.
Yeah.
Well done.
well done. Definitely a great one to achieve in Holland.
leadership is very important. And I think he just has a way of hyping the guys up. And you've played with him, you know how he chats. So he will pick you up. I was eavesdropping the other night at training, if I can quickly just say this. And I just heard him saying, you know, was het nie so hard geoefen om na 20 minute met ons hand op ons knieë te kom staan nie. Yes, cover time. So it was yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. I'm happy for Turlo and hopefully he can maybe get 100. You never know. You never know. And then obviously, Ange, we just missed Leopards and Griquas. Leopards losing to Griquas 64-7. Obviously, Griquas Currie Cup team.
Another level.
Different.
Griquas on another level with Boland players.
That back three is one of the best back threes probably in South African rugby now.
Definitely.
If you look at X Factor and you know just style and pace. Dylan Martin on 14, Connor Mahoney on 11, Cameron Hufke on fullback.
Speed.
So, that's a lot of speed, right?
It's speed, it's play. But they have to. Oh, we're gonna go there to them, Boland. So it's gonna be a lekker one. I really think that guys, Coach Harvey's for
Lucian,
bringing
dan
something
kyk ons na
different.
die fixtures van die naweek wat kom. Ons kyk so na die SA Cup, Angela, SVD versus Border Bulldogs, Vrydag 6uur. Wie dink jy weer gaan omvat?
SVD en Border, ek dink SVD moet daai ene vat.
SVD moet omvat, Toyota Cheetahs Leopards.
Cheetahs behoort terug te kom. Frans het net kwaad gelyk aan na die game.
Dan kyk ons dan kyk ons Saterdag na die Valke in Suzuki Griquas.
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 Daar was spelers aan Kempton.
Ek is seker.
Maak ook nie saak waar hulle speel nie.
Hulle speel in EP.
Hulle in EP.
Eastern Province Eling Pumas.
Pumas Jeans.
Dan is dit die Griff van die Boland. Dis ook basically kind of a derby.
Daar is dit.
Lekker enetjies altyd.
Laas jaar het die Griffins vir die Boland uit die Currie Cup uitgehou. So dit gaan vital wees dat ons
Net hy
manne gaan wen. Ons moet net daar in welkom opdag en hy manne.
En sorry die Griquas speel in Kimberley gaan taaf wees vir die Falco hoor. It's going to be a tough one. To play there, it's dry. I mean as hy bol hop. Dak toe.
Luister dit van 3 reën. Don't worry oor droog kry hy.
And then just the Super Rugby results and fixtures. Super Rugby Blues going down to the Brumbies. Last one, Brumbies dominating scrum, winning a penalty 20-21. Tough one.
I still believe in the Blues.
But they said this weekend was the weekend of the underdogs. Fiji Drua going or beating the Chiefs 28-24. I mean, they were dominating that game.
Sure.
Right through from minute 1 till minute 80. Moana Pacifica also upsetting the Hurricanes. 40-31.
was op 'n ander level.
Waratahs.
Hy was op 'n ander level.
Definitely. I mean, you can see the leadership coming into play. And I think give them a few more weeks and you're gonna see a different Moana. Waratahs beating the Force convincingly, 34-10, and then obviously the mighty Crusaders. They are back 43-90. They are back.
I think that's a well-deserved one.
Will Jordan showing his class from the back. I mean, exceptional player, exceptional game. And I mean, doing that to the Reds that are on a high at the moment.
Definitely.
And then with the fixture, Highlanders versus Hurricanes Friday, Brumbies versus the Drua. With the Highlanders, Hurricanes, I'll go Highlanders Friday. You, Lucian?
Highlanders for me.
Highlanders. I'm not really following that rugby, but I know that I know the brand still. You know, since South Africa pulled out of the URC, you know, I think we've gained more South African supporters from the New Zealand side.
And then Brumbies and Fiji Drua. I'll go for Fiji Drua.
Where they're playing at
They're playing at down in Canberra.
Canberra now, the Brumbies.
Crusaders versus Force. I'll go Crusaders. Chiefs versus Blues. I'll go
Blues, mama.
Chiefs.
Look like the Chiefs have lost form now a little bit.
They lost form, but they're playing at home, so
Blues.
I'll go Chiefs. I think the Chiefs scrum is gonna
Another Australian.
is gonna hurt the Blues.
Another Australian derby.
Reds versus Waratahs.
Reds.
I'll go.
Reds at home.
Yeah, I'll go Waratahs.
Reds.
I'll go Waratahs. That's the rugby. The rugby chat for the week. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on the All Eight podcast. And thank you for those that joined in on us subscribing, liking, and sharing. Your support is truly appreciated. And obviously, we need to thank our sponsors, people that are behind us, that are walking this path with us. And this path is not possible without them. FLM attorneys and SSA custom designs. Thank you guys for just walking this path with us. We really appreciate it. So if you're looking for your consultation with a lawyer, so ek miskien eers in die knip gekom or unlawfully dismissed, ons het alles vir jou.
Dit vir jou.
Alles.
Jy moet net paraat. Ons maak jou los.
Dial the number on the screen. Go to the socials, DM, ons het alles vir jou. DM die mense. As jy water soek,
Die dosis paraat. Die sos.
ons het 'n oorvloed van water.
Here we go. Ons het jou beker laat oorloop. Dan, Lucian Cupido, baie dankie vir jou tyd en behalve tyd All Eight family with the journey. All the best and do your best and just leave the rest to God.
Halleluja.
Amen.
Julle sal net vooruit gaan geniet man en onthou, julle is die kop.
En dit is sterk.